Today I have Sonya Joseph. I'm so glad to have you, Sonya. I want the people to hear from you something that they're not going to read in your bio. You can tell us what you do as well, but I want them to hear something about you that they're not going to necessarily read in your bio.
I have experienced pretty much every horrible scenario you can imagine at work.
Oh, wow.
And that is a lot of the reason why I have the business that I have right now. It's the reason why I launched it, because it's all about leadership. And I've experienced the effects of poor leadership personally, how it affects you, your motivation, your morale, your self-esteem, and how you really have to pull yourself up and say, no,
Yes.
other people be subjected to that. And it's hard to watch. It's painful to see good people under the direction of someone who really doesn't know what they're doing, either intentionally or unintentionally. They hurt organizations. So when you hear me speak, I am speaking from the heart. I have a lot of stories that I tell because I want people to understand, I know your pain. I know what you're going through.
I love that. So I'm going to jump to one of my last questions right now because I want people to understand exactly what you do and who are you uniquely gifted to serve, Sonya. Tell people what you do and who do you work with.
Well, my company is Leadership Impact. I am a professional coach and leadership coach. I work primarily with people who are new to management, who are trying to find their way and discover how to lead. They're trying to make that transition from being an independent contributor to becoming someone who can actually lead people in an authentic way. I'm really big on servant leadership and helping people, especially younger people who are coming up in a different way, and our world is just so different now, helping them to understand the significance of that.
Right.
I also work with more seasoned managers who are trying to figure out how to work with millennials and Gen Xers, because it's a different breed. They see things differently. And so you have to motivate them in different ways and lead them in different ways in order to keep them.
Right.
So those are the primary focuses of the business. However, I also help people with career path development for people who are seeking to go into a different job using transferable skills. And there are a few other things we do, but the primary focus is leadership development.
So I'm reminded of an episode of Undercover Boss. And there was this young man, it was a fast food restaurant. And, for those of y'all who've never seen the show, the owner, like the CEO or the founder of the organization, comes in undercover, works among the ranks to see what's really going on on the front lines. And so this young leader in this fast food restaurant, who's supposed to be training this young new recruit who he does not know is the owner of the entire chain of companies. He is just rude and talking down to him and making him feel like he's nothing. And fast forward to the end of the episode, and they're sitting and talking, and he says, "So talk to me about the training you received as a manager." And I remember, I'll never forget this young man's answer. He said, "Well, I don't know that I got training." He said, "I was just really good at my job, and they just promoted me. And, I just did what I've always done and what I've always seen." So I think they need you, number one, Sonya, at that organization.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly it. That's exactly
Yeah. Do you see that happen a lot?
Yeah, it's not fair. It's just, it's not fair to the manager, because think about it. You've been an independent contributor all this time. You've gotten all these kudos. Everything is great. You're just so wonderful. And then all of a sudden you're put in this management role and you're failing. You can't get your team to operate. You're trying to teach them how to do things the way that you do them, and they're not getting the same results. And now all of a sudden your career feels like it's tanking around you, but you were ill-equipped. So you were set up for failure. Yeah. So it's not the manager's fault. They don't know.
They sure don't. That's a really good point. And for those of you all who have, teams and you're hiring people, it's like, understand that it's not fair to set someone else up for failure, without giving them the tools, the skills, the resources, the mentorship, all of the things that are required Now, we could go deep with this because, I did staffing for almost 20 years. So I completely can vibe with this. I've had more calls for people saying, this person isn't working out. Okay, well, how did you, incorporate them into the team? Well, they should have known what they were doing when they got here. That kind of thing.
Ooh, so not fair,
Yeah, yeah. So Sonya, tell me a little bit about, because now we're talking about competence, but many times, especially when it comes to selling and networking, but most important when you're in a career, type of situation, competence versus confidence. Many times people have the competence. They don't always have the confidence necessary to excel or to lead or to really be magnetic so that the team will hear them and follow them. What has been your journey? Have you had any issues where you had to go from, okay, not having so much confidence to actually building confidence, or is this something you've always had as a leader?
Nope. Did not always have it. And even sometimes now, I don't always feel as confident as I would hope that I was. What happens with me is I have this alter ego that I've turned on.
Okay.
They say like you got Beyonce and Sasha Fierce and people like that. So they have these alter egos because they're introverted by nature, but they just have this calling to be in front of people. And so they have to find a way to get past that. And that was kind of what was happening with me initially when I first got into this business. But now it's not so much because I think I'm fueled by my passion. And I look into the eyes of the people that I'm speaking to, and I can tell that they're feeling, they want it. They tell me something to help me, Sonya.
Right.
And so when I see that and I hear their questions or they share their fears or their concerns with me, it helps me to feel more confident. It helps me to remember exactly the things that I've been through that are similar to what they've been through. And I can speak to it with confidence.
I love that.
The truth, and you're just speaking from your heart, that kind of gives you the confidence that you need.
Ooh, that's a word right there. When you're telling the truth and speaking from your heart, it gives you the confidence. That is so powerful because you also said you were fueled by that passion. And so when the passion, kind of takes place over the fear, it allows you to do what you probably thought you couldn't do before, which I think is pretty powerful. Who do you believe, Sonya, you've had to become in order to experience the level of success that you currently have?
I had to just stop being worried. I had to stop being afraid of, I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I don't, and I don't like to mess up. I don't fly by the seat of my pants. I need to be prepared. I need to know what's coming after what's coming after what's coming.
Right.
And I had to let go of all that because particularly when you're working in a field where you are dealing with other people the way that you and I do, you don't know what's coming.
Right.
You don't know what that other person is going to throw at you. You don't know what they need sometimes until you start getting more into that discovery phase and you're exploring with them. And then as you go down that road, you kind of have to ebb and flow,
Right.
with it. And I'm learning that really takes a lot of the pressure off of me.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to be as structured. And so I can just be me. I can be authentic. I can allow my mistakes to happen. I can allow my flaws to show. And when you're thinking you're trying to be perfect, what you really do is you make yourself less relatable. When you mess up, you're more relatable and people listen to you more because now, okay, you get it. You're not, I'm not perfect either. You may understand what I'm talking about,
Right.
What you have to say.
Girl, that's some good stuff right there, because I think that we have this I know that we as a people collectively have this misconception that people are looking for perfection, and quite the contrary, right? I love that. It's like letting go of that desire to be perfect and just look, you see me flaws and all. I think people are way more attracted to us. They're definitely we're much more relatable. And just like you said, it allows us to be ourselves because look, I can only be me. Everybody else is taken, right? So I
That's
love
right.
that. Oh God, Sonya, tell me a little bit about the connections that have played the biggest role in your life. Can you think of one or two people that have really, those connections have really like shifted your business or changed your mindset or whatever it might be?
I have a village.
Yes.
I have a village, and people are praying for me. They are pouring into me. I mean, from people who are professional connections to my personal connections, my family, my church. I mean, everybody. I have a business coach. Her name is Clarissa McElrath, and she has been a godsend for me
Mm,
because I've always been this person who has been the mirror for other people. And it's not necessarily because I'm anything, it's just people trust me and they
right,
trust me for my opinion. But I've always felt like when I ask other people for their opinion, they don't want to hurt your feelings and, so they don't
right,
tell the truth. Well, she has been telling me the truth.
mm,
That's been the nature of our relationship. So she's
right.
calling me out on some things that are really kind of helping to propel me past some of my barriers.
Oh
But
wow.
I have so many people that are supporting me, and I don't think that any connection is a bad connection. If it's not today, it's tomorrow. So
Right. I love that. I love that. When you think about that, there are people in our lives, I say, that we just may not realize right now how big of a connection they really are, but when they tell you the truth and you listen, it does make the difference, the possible, biggest difference in your life. Um, Tell me if you could sum up your journey in one word, what would that word be?
uh, well, the initial thought is random, but and the reason I say that is because I wasn't necessarily on a career path. I
Mhm.
was always just trying to have a job.
Yes.
I was
Okay.
always trying to just be working, just being able to take care of myself. And hopefully, with every promotion, you grow a little bit. And with every accomplishment, you achieve a little more um, credibility or whatever. But as I look back, even though I say it's random right now, as I look back and I see how all these pieces are starting to connect, almost like me being a puzzle in progress, per se,
Right. I love that.
I am noticing that it's not so random.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a design, right? I say
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
design in all honesty.
Didn't make sense to me, sometimes still doesn't make sense to me. But when I look back, I see it.
I love that. I love that. A puzzle in progress. That is pretty powerful. Sonia, do you network much for your business? And if so, what would you say is your networking secret?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I'm an extroverted introvert.
Okay.
Networking is challenging for
Mhm.
me.
Right.
Uh, Ergo, how I met you.
Yeah.
Just trying to find a way to get past all of that. I pretty much have stayed in my circle
Yes.
and I share with them and they share with others. I'm starting to learn other techniques, to kind of expand that and be a little more bold,
Yeah.
trying to use social media more,
Hmm.
trying to do things like develop actual email campaigns, which I had
Right.
not done, hadn't
Yeah.
even thought about doing that. Um, those are pretty much the big things right now, especially with COVID. You can't really get out and network like you once could.
Right.
But, it's a glass half empty, glass half full type of thing. You can reach a lot of people online,
Oh, yes.
a
More
lot
so.
more than you
More
actually would reach in a room. So,
Right, right, no doubt. And that's the thing. I think, look, just like you said, it's all about our viewpoint. Because I'm like, wow, now I can network with people in Europe and in Australia, places I hadn't, specifically before been able to network with in a room. I can network with them all over the world now. So,
right.
and I
Yeah.
do love that for sure. Absolutely. So how can we refer you? Because all of our networking school students are now getting their pens and papers out, trying to figure out, okay, who does Sonya need to meet? How do we best refer you, Sonya?
Any company who is struggling, or they have managers, particularly new managers, but any manager who is struggling to find that gap that they're having in their leadership, or they never really had it. They were never really trained. Maybe they were just challenged in their training and it never really connected with them. Those people should call me. People who are maybe not necessarily in a company, but they could be in an other organization, that a church, a nonprofit, anything.
Right,
You know,
right. Okay.
where anybody who's trying to lead other people and they're struggling with that, they should call me. Anybody who is potentially seeking to change careers and they're struggling to figure out how they could possibly do that, call me.
Awesome.
No.
I love that. Wonderful. Well, I know that the people who are listening, they all know someone like that. And many of the people who are listening are saying, hey, that's me. So we'll make sure that people reach out to you. Tell us the best way to reach you right now, and then we'll put it in the show notes as well.
Okay. They can call me.
Okay.
Well, actually, the easiest thing to do is go to my website, because all of my contact information is there. Okay. So the website is www.leadershipimpactusa.com. And remember to put the USA on there. Otherwise, you're going to talk to somebody different than me.
I got you.
So it's leadershipimpactusa.com. And on there, you'll have my phone number. You can fill out a contact us form. You can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Perfect. Well, we'll have all of that in the show notes. Sonya, thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you later.
This has been awesome. Thank you so much, Tish. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome.
All right. Have a blessed day.